Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Planning Board meeting for the town of Norfolk. Today is Tuesday, May 14th, 2024. We are starting this evening a little bit early at 6:30 p.m. here in Town Hall at Meeting Room 124. Members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting here at 1 Liberty Lane, Norfolk, Massachusetts, or by remote Zoom connection. Please note that the in-person meeting will not be suspended or terminated if technology problems interrupt the remote connection. Zoom links and call-in numbers were previously provided on the town's website. Alternatively, you can access this via live stream through the NCTV channel on YouTube. So it is 6:30, so I've called the meeting to order. We'll just kind of do a quick roll call here. So we are going to have to do roll call in person, and all votes would have to be done in person with camera on because we do have one of our board members who's remote this evening. So we'll start with our remote board member. So we have Chris Montfort here, remote via Zoom.
Hello.
We do have our associate, so going around, we have our associate member, Christian Guston.
How's it going?
We have Gary Sullivan, myself, Chad Peck, and then we have Eric Diamond, Melissa Mayo, our town planner, Rich McCarthy, and our admin assistant, Bessie Fischel. So with that, I would like to make a motion to enter an executive session under Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with regarding to potential litigation insofar as an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigation position of the public body, 71 Union Street Estate Lot Special Permit Appeal. So do I have a second?
Second.
So moved.
Okay, we have a so moved in a second. We will do a roll call vote. Chris?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. All right, we will now enter into our executive session.
Okay.
And we're Okay. All right, welcome back. Can I get a motion to resume our regular planning board meeting?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do we have Chris yet?
He's coming.
All right,
Yep, he's coming.
all right, we'll save Chris for last then. Gary?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Chris, we're voting to resume our regular meeting.
Aye.
Okay, and the chair votes aye. All right. We are now back into our regular planning board meeting. We are a few minutes before 7 o'clock. So is there any, Rich, is there any new business that we could punch out here in like 2 minutes? 3 minutes?
Could probably vote to release the bond for Lincoln Road. You want?
Okay. So Lincoln Road.
Solar project.
The solar project, so that
The
is,
one near the power lines?
Yep, it's done.
Done.
all right.
Done for us and done with the building department too. They have their complete,
Everybody's done, everybody's satisfied.
done.
Concom's happy?
Done.
Wow,
Like
great.
everybody, done that, yeah. Last time I asked, done. Okay.
Done.
All right.
G-O-N-E.
Completed.
All right. Okay. So I will entertain a motion to approve the release of the $25,000 bond for 15 Lincoln Road Next Grid Solar Project.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We'll do a roll call vote. Chris?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. All right. We still got 1 minute.
So,
Meeting minutes for the 2nd and the 9th, maybe?
Sure.
yep.
For May 2nd and May 9th?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I
gotcha.
know you just got them today, so.
I forgot we had a special meeting.
We did have a special meeting, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're special.
Thanks,
Just-
guys.
that's-
Appreciate
I
it.
make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for May 2nd and May 9th as printed.
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Chris?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. All right. Cool. All right, we are just seconds away from 7 PM, so,
And then you'll have 5 minutes after that.
okay. You're right, we will, because that's going to be continued. All right, so we are, it is now 7 PM, so we do have a public hearing for 4 David Road. It is my understanding they have requested a continuance.
Yes.
So, so I'd like to make a motion that we continue that public hearing for 7 David Road until June 11th, 2024 at
7 PM.
7 PM.
For David Road.
4 David Road.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote. Chris?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. All right, so 4 David Road has been continued until our next meeting.
5 minutes before Shire Drive.
Right. So Rich, what,
Is reorg something to be covered in 5 minutes, or does it need a lot of discussion, you think?
I don't know. We can reorg. Sure, let's do it. So so every year, we do have the opportunity to reorganize our board. We do have 3 positions, chair, vice chair, and a clerk. So we just went through election. Congratulations, Chris, for running a great re-election. And we get Chris for another 3 years. So we do currently have myself as the chair, Chris as the vice chair, and Eric as the clerk. So I'm just going to open it up, does anybody have any recommendations, desires? We can also just stay with the same mix. We can mix it up. Thoughts? Just opening the floor.
I enjoy working out of the background, so this is fine for me.
Okay.
Eric, I believe you've done this twice now?
I have.
Oh, yeah.
Happy to
You'd be happy
share,
to?
yeah.
Okay. I'd be happy to help.
I would
And by
accept
help, I
that.
mean,
Yep.
take it.
Okay, so it sounds like, Eric, you're happy with the position you're in, and, I mean, would anybody else?
Well, no, he's
No, no,
having
she's-
a swap.
she's-
Oh, you're saying you want to swap?
I think
Oh,
we
I would like to
want to
swap each other.
nominate
All right.
Melissa to be
So then,
clerk.
okay, so then, yeah, you want to do that?
I will nominate Melissa Mayo to be clerk.
Okay. And so we need to, do we need a second?
Second.
I'll second that.
And vote.
All right, so let's vote on our clerk as Melissa Mayo. Chris?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Eric?
All right.
Melissa, you do get to vote.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. All
I
right,
think
so,
you're really good at it,
so,
though.
so we have a new clerk. Congratulations, Melissa.
Oh, thanks.
All right, so vice chair, I mean, I'll nominate Chris. He's doing a great job.
Well,
He froze.
He's driving and zooming though, like.
I'm so,
He'll accept. Look, he's totally frozen.
He is frozen, so do we know if he accepted it?
I heard something.
Yeah.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
There's a long red light.
I'd a chance at chair at some point when it's appropriate, but I'd love to take the vice chair position.
Okay.
So I accept.
He accepts.
Okay, he accepts. So do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we'll do a vote. Gary,
Aye.
Eric,
All right.
Melissa,
Aye.
chair votes aye. Chris, you vote for yourself?
Aye.
Okay, so we have a new vice chair. So then, chairman,
Do you like this?
I do like it.
I nominate Chad Peck for planning board.
Second.
All right, we'll do a vote. Chris,
Aye.
Gary,
Aye.
Eric,
All right.
Melissa,
Aye.
and I'll vote aye. All right, so we have our new board. We have Melissa as our clerk, Chris as our vice chair, and myself, Chad Peck, as our chair. All right,
Yeah.
awesome. Done. Thank you, everybody. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you, Eric, for doing the clerk job twice.
All right, we are at, I believe it is it's not quite 7:05. Like seconds away.
Yep. There it goes.
Okay.
7:05.
7:05, we have a public hearing, so I'd like to reopen the public hearing for 9 Lot 20 Shire Drive. It is a site plan application, stormwater management permit, earth removal permit, and special permit to allow outdoor storage greater than 1,000 square feet for proposed construction of a 11,900 square foot contractor's headquarters building. This was continued from our April 9th, 2024 meeting. All right, so we will, so it is open. We'll pass it over to, if you could just introduce yourself and who you're representing, and we'll let you go from there.
So again, for the record, Josh White from JDE Civil, representing ILP Realty for this project. How do I show hands?
Oh,
Go. Go.
Perfect. Okay, good. So as the chair mentioned with the intro, this was continued from the April meeting. We got peer review comments from Beta, and we addressed those. Their latest letter from April 25th listed a handful of outstanding comments and comments that they deferred back to the board for. But basically, just a quick summary of some of the changes that we made. We added a second handicap space. I believe we had to add either 1 or 2 extra spaces. And that number threw us into the next ADA category, requiring 1 more. So we added that. We added the additional interior green space shown by these islands kind of throughout the parking lot to get that 5%. Like I mentioned, these islands here, those are new. That's really all the change for the layout. Some very minor grading changes up by the building and the additional accessible space. A lot of the comments that were in this review letter had to do with maintenance and the overall park. So basically how we handled the responses was basically that this lot in the original subdivision was accounted for to drain into the road system. And basically the 80% impervious that was accounted for in the design, we're below that. So we believe that no additional stormwater was required. So basically what we've got here is just catch basins to manholes, directing it out into the existing drainage in the street. As part of this project and the one later tonight, we did look into the status of the existing basin. We did do a site visit just to do our due diligence to give a recommendation and a response to the town. It's in fairly good shape, definitely needs some work, but it appears to be doing what it's supposed to be doing. So as far as stormwater management for this project, that's about the extent of it. One of the comments we did receive from the fire department was that they requested a hydrant be put in. We put together a little plan. So this is 9 Shire, and then 11 is just to the north for the other project. Right across the street, there's an existing hydrant. And then a little bit further down the street, there's another existing hydrant. It's 230 to 290 feet. Typically, we see anywhere from 300 feet to 500 feet for a requirement. So it seems, in our opinion, not necessary for this. This building is gonna have a sprinkler system, and seeing as the subdivision was approved that way and built so far to that standard, doesn't feel like another one is necessary. And we didn't want to propose one for the applicant for that. A couple of the comments that the peer reviewer wanted to ask the board was their thoughts on the requiring the traffic study. We asked for a waiver for that, saying that it fits, basically that it fits in with what was originally proposed for this park, and like I mentioned before, the basin maintenance requirements and kind of how the board is going to handle that kind of going forward. That's really just a quick overview of what was changed. Like I mentioned, a lot of the comments were just kind of clarification comments. So I'll throw it back to the board for any feedback.
Okay.
I thought I could add some
Yep.
context in terms of the subdivision and.
Yep.
So in terms of the hydrant, it's something we would, so as you know, just kind of recapping that, the board last year pulled the bond to complete Shire Industrial Park. We recently hired a surveying company. They're out surveying existing utilities, putting together existing conditions plan, assessing the infrastructure there. And then they'll provide that plan to the planning board, which I anticipate maybe in July. The board did hire an engineer to go through an assessment. Recommendation would be, once that is put together, sit down with DPW and the fire department, see whether or not another hydrant is needed or not. Technically, we don't have actually the property is going through the tax foreclosure process in order to acquire the land and the road, so that will be completed shortly, probably more towards the middle of the summer. So the thought is, let's take a look at it and see if it makes sense to, it's not, this building is sprinkled, but then there's another building, it seems like it may be sufficient, but work with the chief and DPW to see if it makes sense, and look at it in terms of when we get to the road, in terms of the finishing the road. In terms of the stormwater, similar, be working with the property owners in there and coming back to the board to discuss in terms of the long-term maintenance. It was a master plan park subdivision, and the town is actually a property owner within the park. Don't really think it was necessarily intended to have it be maintained, the stormwater system, as a town utility per se. But we'll have to take a look as we go along if that may be the case, because the stormwater basin that's this discharging to is actually, the property is the town of Norfolk's now, so that wasn't originally intent, as well as the septic, the discharge, the leach field for all the shared septic system that's on the same lot behind this. So again, I probably would structure some condition to work with both property owners and the other property owners to kind of come back to the board and figure out how we're gonna handle some of these maintenance issues. So it's a little, we're not quite there to have those answers, but we do need to do that as part of the finish up the subdivision.
Okay. Good point. I wanted to get Phil's comments from Beta Group. I know he'd been working with JD Civil to go through these issues.
Yeah, Phil Paradis with Beta Group. We've had the opportunity to review this a few times. We met with the applicant and their engineers as well. There are basically the presentation covered most of the issues. We are deferring, obviously, the hydrant issue to the fire department. We're deferring the septic capacity to the Board of Health on their system, and as Rich just mentioned, the issue of the maintenance of the stormwater system is probably the big issue. We have one slight, one additional comment relative to treatment. Since the development was permitted, there is a new requirement that new developments meet a TSS, total suspended solid removal rate of 90% instead of 80%. So we just need a calculation for that. And then obviously we have a pretty standard condition relative to providing the final stormwater pollution prevention plan, the SWIP plan, prior to pre-construction. So those are the remaining issues. I don't see it as a big issue. But.
Okay. Yep. Thanks, Phil. So yeah, I'm looking at T1 was the traffic, which deferred to the board. T2 was the fire department issue. U3 3 was the Board of Health. Then there was LA1, provide a sketch of the parking lot to identify 5% interior landscaping to show compliance. What was the status on that?
They added that.
We didn't,
They
we,
added
we
that,
didn't,
you-
we didn't provide a separate sketch identifying the areas, but it's basically all the islands that we added
Oh, okay.
in the parking lot.
Okay, thank you.
Got a question about the islands. You have the turn radius with the fire truck. When you add in that island, it's where the original sketch was. Would that affect the turn radius of the fire truck?
Yeah, did you have an auto turn movement
I
on
believe
that?
we did.
Yeah, but it's at the bottom, but it's not with the new islands. Maybe it is.
Yeah, it looks like
Could
it
be
is
wrong.
with this
Oh,
one.
it is, yeah.
So we do show that the fire truck works, whether they decide to do the 5-point turn or just back out onto the street, that's up to them.
Okay.
But we do show one that does work
Okay,
with those new islands.
all right.
5-point turn.
Okay, and then, you have maintenance of the basins we talked about. That was for SW2. And then, SW6, Phil mentioned that one. That was the TSS removal, 90%.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so basically for this one, we've got catch basins which provide 25% on-site. And then if we were to count the infiltration basin, we'd get up to 80%. Because it does have a 4-bay, a 7-4-bay, and obviously the basin part, so that would get us to the 80%. If the board would prefer us to meet this requirement on site, we could, there's an option to add a treatment unit before it goes into the street system, a CDS unit or something similar to that. That could be done. But other than that, I mean, the property still would discharge to that existing basin.
Okay. I mean, I'd like to see you get to, I mean, that is the requirement. I'd like to see you get to the 90%.
Okay. Yeah, we can add a CDS treatment unit to get us that additional percentage.
All right.
We'd like to do that as a condition if we, just condition a plan revision with that, if that's acceptable.
Yeah, we can do that. Yep. Then, okay, that would satisfy several. Would satisfy SW8, SW17. Alright. Then on SW 2020, Beta recommends including a condition that assigned SWPP be provided prior to the pre-con meeting. Okay.
We agree with that. Yep.
Okay. And I think that covers all of the Beta's issues. Going back to the waivers, I mean, impact study, congestion, walkway, stormwater, slant granite curb, retaining walls, stormwater, I mean, yeah, okay. I didn't have any concerns with the waivers. Does anyone else on the board have any questions, concerns, comments?
So we mentioned that this everything that's going in that area is basically what was supposed to go in that area. But when was the traffic study done originally? Do we know? Has there been a big change over there that we should be concerned about?
In terms of, so the original, I would say probably goes back to the, I would say probably pre-2010 timeframe. I think actually, we could take a look. I think though, the build out of this park is actually end up being less intensive uses than originally planned.
Yeah.
I mean, this is more like contractor type buildings that we've ended up seeing. So they're not really trip generators per se that,
Right. Mostly
But-
just employees and then the trucks going in and out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
hasn't really developed that way.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Chris, do you have any, did we lose Chris? Yeah, Chris there. Any questions, Chris? I know it's hard to hear remotely.
Nope, no questions on my side. I remember this one.
Okay, great. So I know, Rich, you don't have a decision yet. We still have the public hearing open. Is there any comments? We'll open it up to anybody in the room or on Zoom. If there's anybody that has any questions or comments on this. Nine Shire. I see no hands up. Okay. So we do still have the public hearing open. I know we do not have a draft decision prepared yet tonight. That was going to be at our next meeting in June. So we do have then an option we could keep this public hearing open, or we could close it tonight. And I would only say we would keep it open if we felt there was some outstanding questions or new information we were waiting on. Can't think of any, but I'm just floating it out there that we could do that if we so desired. I mean, does anybody feel a reason to keep it open, or should we just close it?
I can't think of any reasons to keep it open.
Okay. All right. So I'd like to entertain a motion to close the public hearing for 9 Lot 20 Shire Drive.
So moved.
So moved.
All right. Can I get a second?
Second?
Can a roll call vote? Chris?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Okay, so public hearing's closed on 9 Shire, and we will work on a draft decision, and we'll have that at our next meeting. All right, June. Okay, so now let's move on to reopen our public hearing for 11 Lot 19 Shire Drive, which was a continuation from April 24th. So this is for the site plan application, stormwater management permit, and earth removal permit for proposed construction of a 7,500 square foot contractor's headquarters building. As I mentioned, it was continued from our April 4th, 2024 planning board meeting. So if you could introduce yourself again, it's a new public hearing, introduce yourself.
So again, for the record, Josh White from JDE Civil, representing Michael Spiegel of Omni Electric for this project. Similar to the last one, we were last here in March, and we continued it after the April meeting. Similar to the other one, there was a few comments from Beta's letter on April 25th. Similar comments, the green space, we added green space here to get to that 691 square feet that was required. That's basically the only change for the layout for this project. The stormwater design for this, a little bit more complicated. This property in the original subdivision goes to the north, goes to a water quality swale, which goes up beyond, I think it's like 2 or 3 properties to the north from this. And basically we looked at the drainage that was done before, and originally we just wanted to just kind of rely on that, but looking back on it, and we decided to make some modifications. Basically, we've proposed, we're keeping one of the sediment forebays that we had proposed before. We've got a bioretention area for treatment. That alone will get us 90% on this lot. And then we've got a narrow infiltration basin, basically within the limits of the existing swale. So we're basically just raising the berm a little bit, and then an overflow to the existing swale to the north. The reason for the infiltration basin is basically just for attenuation, to not, I know the drainage calcs for the subdivision to this design point, which is the property line to the west, we believe it met pre and post before, but just to kind of make it meet for this project, we decided to add that as just another step to comply with the stormwater regs, local and with the state. So again, this property will get 90%, over 90% with the fire retention and the infiltration basin. The roof is going into the infiltration basins because it doesn't need to be treated. And then it'll continue on like it was intended with the subdivision. Couple minor changes. We relocated the water service to the north of the building. That was requested by the applicant, and it also eliminates any kind of conflict here with the sewer tie-in. And that's the
Turning movements.
Yep. So it still works.
Okay.
On the landscaping, because we did the existing tree line, it's kind of way back here. It's more towards the existing swale. So the tree line is a little bit less because of this additional work for stormwater, but we believe that, I mean, if you go out there now and you're like walking way down here, but the septic system is for the site, you can still see up there past the other properties. So we feel that we're not making it any worse by not keeping that landscaping strip basically along the property line. We do have some plantings proposed, both within the bioretention area and then just a couple screen trees off the parking lot to kind of screen the basin from the rest of the parking lot, basically. And then landscaping along the southern property line. Yeah, basically the same outstanding comments regarding maintenance and traffic and the traffic study. So we feel we're at the same point with this one, just as the last one. So I'll throw it back to the board for comment.
Okay. Thank you. Rich, did you have any comments on this one?
The comments are applicable to this one.
Okay.
Same comments.
Same comment. Okay.
Yep.
Phil from Beta Group.
Yeah, so Phil Paris with Beta Group, we had an opportunity to review this as well, and meet the applicant engineer. This is similar to the previous project. As Josh mentioned, the traffic. This project does meet the stormwater management standards. It does, however, have a very thin, if non-existent, buffer zone to the residential zone to the west. So I think the board should consider that. The SWIP is a pretty standard condition. So that's about it. It's Z5 and Z6. Z5 says it's you're clearing within 7 feet of the property line. Z6, the explanation is that the site has already been cleared once, so the trees are very thin there anyway, as Josh mentioned. But I think in the spirit of the buffer zone, that should be considered going forward.
Okay. And that was really the only kind of deferred item in addition to the maintenance and all that stuff of the subdivision. Waivers look the same. The waiver requests look the same as the 9 Shire Drive, which again, a lot of that has to do with the whole subdivision there. The issue that Phil brought up, Z5, is the buffer zone. I mean, it is thin there now. I mean, it would be nice to see some more plantings along there. I mean, what could you do there? What would be an alternative? If you go back to your landscaping plan, I know the landscaping plan doesn't show the basin, so it's...
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see between the two.
Okay, so you got your landscaping plan, and you just have minimal trees along the parking lot.
Yep.
And that would be then to I guess that's the west. Yeah, there's your north arrow. Yeah.
Yep.
So, and then go back to your basin.
So if you want to look, you can look 2 spots. Chad.
Oh, yep, we got it up there too. So,
I think you had some elevations too in color, right? Kind of looking at the back of the building last time.
Yeah, I think I have those. But yeah, if you're down by the septic system and the neighboring lot, I believe that's in Rentham. I walked that personally, and you're like looking up a hill to see all this.
So currently, right now, I mean, Rich has got it on the screen here with the aerial. I mean, to the west right now is undeveloped, and that's zoned residential.
Yeah, and that will not. It's state property over there, so I don't imagine that's going to be developed. That's part of the development center to the west.
Right.
In terms of.
So I mean, we could require a buffer, but it's like, is it really warranted? It seems probably a little overkill.
Yeah.
Since it's backing up to state property that's undeveloped and.
Yeah, because I did drive up there too. So in terms of these houses that on the lower, they look up that way. There's not.
And they'd be looking up from the south, which there is.
Looking up the hill.
Looking up the hill, and there is a landscape buffer on the south.
And it's back to back in terms of here's their discharge field for their system, and this is that's the discharge, for the septic for Shire Industrial Park. Now it could, the one thing I wouldn't necessarily say in terms of this project per se, but the proposed routing of the Metacomet Greenway is to come up and do a shared use path up Shire Drive, and then
come in through there,
peel off to come to then get over here to the Rice Complex.
To the Rice Complex, yeah.
Yeah. Over here. And then the plan is to then kind of follow the back of Shire Industrial Park to then get over to Pond Street up here with
Okay.
another path, shared use path. So my point, I guess, is that depending upon where we connect up in terms of here, I know I've spoken to some, well, you saw some of the residents came, but they also kind of go back and forth between these, well, actually this emergency access drive, which is almost like a roadway. I think we kind of look at it when we get to the trail piece, we might be able to kind of add some screening as part of that as we kind of navigate through. I guess that's my
Right. Because
takeoff point.
so just circle where, the property in question, I know, I mean, it's,
Oh, it's up here,
yes, right, it's up there.
yes.
So it's undeveloped, and it's like that top drive, there's like 2 dirt driveways there, and it's the
Yeah,
top one.
we're talking about up in here.
Yep, we're talking right there, yep. So the property that, this is 11 Shire Drive in question is that top driveway, dirt driveway to the left. Okay.
And, you know, will depend how the budget comes in Shire Industrial Park. But I know there is screening that was proposed as part of that original basin. If the budget works out, we may be able to kind of just relocate screening from that basin, which really doesn't, I mean, it's a basin. So I think there's some opportunities to kind of figure out some screening options.
I mean, so I'm curious to know how the board feels. I feel the screening they propose is probably adequate, given the conditions around it.
I also drove up there 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, just because I remember the residents who came here and, you know, it sounded like a valid concern, and looking up, it doesn't seem like we would need additional screening to block that view. It's not blocked, but it's not obvious what's up over that incline, so I'm fine with
Okay.
the lack of additional screening.
Eric?
There's no clear sight up to that lot from
You
down
can
below.
find spots, but generally no. Like, there's no, like, you're not gonna see the, like, you're not gonna see the parking lot, right? You'll see the building in spots.
Which, having trees, just small trees, wouldn't help that anyway.
No.
No. And there will be some trees kind of blocking the parking lot. I mean, it'll help. It'll help. Okay. All right, I think that was the only, all the other issues were resolved or deferred to the board that we talked about, you know, regarding the basin maintenance, which is all part of the industrial park. Any other board comments before we open it up to the public? All right, any questions, comments from anyone in the room or on Zoom? Okay, I don't see any. Phil, any last comments?
No,
Okay,
defer to you guys.
thank you. There's no hands up, right, Betsy?
No.
So same as last time, is we don't have a decision tonight to review. It'll be at our next meeting. We can close this public hearing if we feel we've heard enough information and there's nothing that we're waiting on for our next meeting. It sounds to me like we could close it. Does everybody feel comfortable doing that?
Yeah, I think it's a good project and meets all the criteria.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing for 11 Lot 19 Shire Drive.
So moved.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. We'll do a roll call vote. Chris?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. All right, well, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. And what is the date of the next meeting?
June 11th?
June 11th.
Okay. And will you, will be in,
Draft up the decisions and send them to you ahead of time.
Okay.
So you can take a look and. if you have any
Perfect.
comments, you can let us know.
all right, perfect. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you. All right, we have our next public hearing. I'll let Eric read that in.
Notice is hereby given in accordance with Mass General laws.
Hey, so wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry.
New clerk
sorry.
duty.
Whoa. Whoa.
Today.
Hold
Now
the
it's not so
phone.
fun.
We have a new clerk.
Hot seat.
Eric, you're off the.
That goes into effect next time.
No, it goes into effect right now.
Oh,
We
So,
did vote. It is.
the vote.
It is
All right.
official
It's
now.
effective after the vote. Melissa, please read that in.
all right. The entire thing, all the way to here?
Yeah.
Okay. Notice is hereby given in accordance with Mass General Law, Section 40A, and the Norfolk zoning bylaws, Section 310-6.11. A public hearing will be held on Tuesday, May 14th, 2024, at 7:20 PM in Room 124 at the Norfolk Town Hall, 1 Liberty Lane, Norfolk, Mass, regarding a site plan application for a property located at 4 Sharon Ave in Norfolk, Mass. The applicant, Twins Realty Trust of Norfolk, Mass, is proposing construction of a 7,440 square foot multi-tenant commercial building along with appurtenant driveways, bless you, parking, landscaping, utilities, and stormwater management facilities. The property is located in the C1 on-highway and C1B off-highway zoning districts.
I think you're on the wrong one.
Am I reading the wrong one?
Nice
Flip back
job.
one
It's the
page.
wrong one.
Scratch that.
Well, you know what? What time is it?
It's time. We could do that.
Yeah,
We could do
let
it out of
it,
order.
open it and then go, yeah, so you
Okay.
have to read twice.
Yeah. Sorry.
Now that I lost it. Thank you. All right, am I starting over or starting from? Okay.
From where you left off.
Okay, the property is located on the C1 on-highway and C1B off-highway zoning districts. Reference Assessor's Map 18, Block 69, Lot 33. The application and plans are available for public inspection on the Town of Norfolk website at https.
That's enough. Just website.
Norfolk.
Town site. The town website's
All
fine.
right, great, thank you. Thanks for bearing with me on that one.
All right,
job.
so we did,
Yeah.
we opened the meeting for Sharon Ave. So just a point of clarification, it is a little out of order. So we're gonna put that on pause and we're gonna circle back to the 14 Sharon Ave. So
Right.
I'd like to make a motion to pause that public hearing for Sharon Ave. Do I have a,
So move.
okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Chris?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. All right, so that is paused. So let's now circle back and do the 14 Sharon Ave.
All right, I have that one.
Awesome.
Notice is hereby given in accordance with Mass General Law, Section 40A, and the Norfolk zoning bylaws, Section 310-6.11. A public hearing will be held on Tuesday, May 14th, 2024, at 7:15 PM in Room 124 at the Norfolk Town Hall, 1 Liberty Lane, Norfolk, Mass, regarding a site plan application for a property located at 14 Sharon Ave in Norfolk, Mass. The applicant, the Town of Norfolk, is proposing to construct a solar canopy over the existing parking lot at the Norfolk Police Station. The property is located on the C1B off-highway zoning district, reference Assessor's Map 18, Block 69, Lot 41-17. The application and plans are available for public inspection on the Town of Norfolk website.
All right, thank you. So we do have a public hearing is open for 14 Shire. Do we have anybody here from the applicant to speak to the project?
So it's a collaborative, yep, we have
Yep,
two
let's-
online.
Awesome.
Sorry, I'm Matthew Cassane. I am a senior geologist and project manager with Fuss & O'Neill out of Springfield, Mass. And joined by Ken LaCourse, who is representing Select, the applicant for this project. So what is being proposed for this site plan approval application and checklist is a roughly 7,200 square foot canopy mounted solar that's going to be located within the existing parking lot of the Norfolk Police Station located at 14 Sharon Avenue. Some things to note about the design and the construction: there will be no increase in the impervious surfaces at the site. There will be no change in the existing grade or stormwater flow patterns at the site. There will be no change of the traffic circulation within the parking lot of the site or adjacent parking lots. There's going to be no change to the number of parking lot spots within the parking lot or adjacent parking lots. We are requesting a waiver from we have a few waiver requests. One being that we are requesting a waiver from, section 325.74E4 of the checklist, which states that the lot shall be tied into the nearest town, county, and state bound bearings and curve data, distances of all lot lines, etc. So the reason that we're requesting a waiver from that is the project is located on an existing, previously surveyed property owned by the town. There are no required yard setbacks, and therefore bearing and curve data distances for lot lines are not required. We are also requesting a waiver from section 325.74E16, which states that all facilities for accommodating stormwater drainage and snow melt runoff from all buildings, driveways, parking areas, and service areas on the site. We are not proposing any additional impervious area, and we do not propose changing any of the existing grades or drainage patterns. Therefore, it is not anticipated that the addition of the solar canopy will change existing stormwater or snow melt patterns. We are requesting a waiver from section 325.74E21, which states that the removal of earth shall be performed in accordance with the requirements set forth in Article 9, in accordance with the Town of Norfolk bylaws, and as specified by other agencies. We've noted that the project is not a subdivision, and earth removal from the site will simply be limited to what is required to install the canopy footings and any electrical conduits. We're requesting a waiver from section 325.75A5, which states that the site plan shall be prepared by a professional engineer and a registered land surveyor licensed to practice in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts as appropriate, and certified by the same with their seal, stamp, and signature. The plan provided is to show the location of the solar canopy. The applicant will obtain the services of the solar manufacturer to design the canopy, and a full design drawing of the solar canopy will be prepared by APE and provided prior to the start of construction. Additionally, we're asking for a waiver from section 325.75A, which states that all facilities for water supply and distribution, fire protection, lighting, and facilities for the prevention of air pollution and protection of the groundwater, all utilities are to be installed underground. Again, the project does not propose any new water or changes to the existing water infrastructure. There will be lighting associated with the canopy, but it is not anticipated that that lighting will affect the surrounding area. And that relates again to the waiver request for section 325.75A, which is the requirements for lighting information and photometric diagram and layout. Again, the canopy will have some limited lighting, but it is not anticipated that it will affect the surrounding area. So we do have, and I can share my screen, a photo of what one of these structures looks like at another location, just so folks can get an idea of what this one will kind of look like. I think the overall dimensions are I think it's, Ken, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the one for this location is probably slightly smaller.
Yeah. So this is a Y formation. So what we do is pretty much it's a Y formation. It's more of a check mark. So if you look at towards the east side of this photo, that will actually be brought in a little more. but there are LEDs for lighting underneath, but the same structure with the footings, the uprights, they're all pretty much basically the same.
And I can put the site plan up here as well, just kind of showing the overall, dimensions of the structure itself. Again, it is over existing impervious, so no change to the impervious. And we forgot what my next thought was, but yeah, so that is what is being proposed here. Again, I'm happy to answer any questions that you all may have. Appreciate you having us here tonight, and look forward to hearing from you.
Okay, so the canopy is similar to what you showed in the picture where the the columns are in the middle and then you called it a Y formation?
So, yeah, so this is based on a Y formation. This is generally just to give you what the structure is going to look like with the footings.
Yep.
So once we have this design engineered, then I could submit for when we go for the building permit, a completely different design. It's obviously, this is the Hopkinton High School. So it's just kind of, sent this to you guys to basically see what the footings will look like and the uprights. But the canopy structure itself will not represent this. I just don't have one that shows the long span, but this pretty much shows what the footings and the uprights will look like, as well as kind of a canopy end of it.
Okay.
Roughly the center of these look like it's in the middle of the roadway.
Right.
So where would the pillars be?
Yeah.
So Matt, if you go back to that drawing. So if you look at this, we have positioned the footings on the curbing on the east side and the west side of this. So they will not be in the roadway whatsoever. That was just to show you more of what a structure would look like.
So are there two sets of pillars? Like two lines?
There'll be
of
two
pillars?
sets of pillars on this one,
Okay.
with a check mark for snow load or water management.
Okay.
Which direction does it face?
Faces the sun.
It would
Which
face
direction
towards, I
does-
believe, towards
where's the check mark?
It doesn't show it in this. That's on the engineered designs. So if we get approved tonight, then we go to the engineered designs.
I have a question. I understand the request for waiving stormwater, but looking at this, right, like the water's going to be collected by the canopy and it gets routed somewhere, right? So how does that work for these sort of
So
canopies?
these modules are about an inch to about an inch and a half spaced between each module. So it's not going to change any type of your sheet flow whatsoever. So when the water hits the top of this canopy, it's going to shed like it would normally.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So we do a check mark just for snow slide, just so we don't have to have snow guards.
Okay. That was going to be my next question. All right. So I'm still trying to understand the structure. So you're going to have two rows of columns and they're in the curbing. And then is it just then one canopy or are there going to be two separate canopies?
One canopy.
One canopy. Okay. So to just be one fixed canopy, will it just be one angle or will there be multiple?
Just one angle with the exception of the check mark. So I want to say the western point of this will have the last row of mods will be pointed at, I think it's 1 or 1.5 degrees to stop the snow from sliding out.
All right.
I think I understand it, and I appreciate the picture, but
The picture's
think
deceiving.
it was misleading because I think we're.
Sorry about that. That's the only one I have that would actually show how we do this. It's every canopy that we do is like case point. I mean, it's just not, this one here will probably go to the next project that we do.
Yep.
I think I get, yeah.
So are the pillars behind the actual parking and not in
Yes.
parking?
So we'll put the pillars right up by the curbing so we don't lose any parking space.
And there's no actual Y canopy, it's a full
No,
truss
the
with
reason
two
why I
sets
sent
of
that
pillars.
picture, the reason why I gave Matt that picture was to show you what the structure looks like.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, it's to look at the footer and then the metal column and some of the truss work.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it'll just be flat, but then with spaces in between to let the rain through, or snow.
Yep. All right. Thank you for working through it with us on that. I was a little confused.
Is the placement of it to still be able to see the existing building from the street and not block the building, but get solar here somewhere?
Yeah, you won't even be, I mean, the street is to the southern part of this, so you're not even going to, I mean, you'll absolutely see the building as you're driving up the street. And this building's up on, is raised.
Right.
The
As
road
well.
to the right goes up to the water tower.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. So then you said lighting is underneath, mostly just to light underneath the canopy, not really to light any of the adjacent parking lot.
Right, it's LED downspout, so it's the lighting will just basically, it's pretty close to like 0.05 luminescence underneath the canopy itself. So it's not going to overburden any of the other, I mean, you really don't have much around you, but it's more or less to, light whatever is parking underneath or for security reasons.
Okay. Is there any other equipment outside, or is all that going into the building?
So you do have a piece of conduit that's located in that little knoll there in the middle. So we might have an inverter that's mounted on top of the one of the posts, but it'll be up high, and we'd have like bollards around it for protection.
Okay. But then everything else is underground and then go into the building.
Right. And we're actually, if you look at this, I think those are our brackets for we're doing the solar on your roof.
Oh, on that picture right there?
Yeah.
The
I
brick.
was gonna say, so is this in addition, or is this,
In addition,
So we're doing this obviously for Metacomet. The other one is for the Norfolk Police. So two different accounts, but we're the same contractor.
Gotcha. Okay. I don't have any other questions.
Somebody does.
yeah. Don't do it.
Sorry about that. My dog is just going nuts. She wants to go
I don't know how
outside.
to answer that question, Ken, but yeah.
It was nothing to bark about. It really wasn't.
I'm a big fan of solar canopies, and I'm okay with all these waivers as well.
Yeah, I like them a lot too.
Yep. Yeah, I don't have any concerns about the waivers, and now I understand what the structure is going to look like. Any comments from anybody, I guess, anybody on Zoom, in the room? We do have one in the room.
Donna Jones, North Street. I guess if facilities and the PD are fine with it, then I'm fine with it. I'm confused, but the check mark is, and I'm also wondering about, you have a roof that's usually solid, but now it's got slots in it, so rain is falling through onto the cars?
We can, yeah, can you explain more about what the check mark is and how that works?
Yeah, so what it is the check mark is there is as opposed to a snow guard. So when the snow slides, it doesn't fall as one massive force. It basically hits the check mark, melts, and dumps on the grass. You're still going to get rain in between these modules. There's no water management here. So it's not going to be like like a shelter. I mean, your cars are still going to get wet, but not obviously to the point where, you're not going to be, the cars aren't going to be dry underneath the canopy whatsoever. There are still gaps in between the modules.
How big are those gaps?
They're about an inch and a half,
Okay.
all the way around.
Okay. And how big are the modules? Like,
They range on, I believe I'm using 485s on this, so they're about 3 feet by, I want to say, 28 inches, maybe 4 feet by 28 inches. I can get an exact measurement if that helps.
Just rough, it's just, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Is that,
Thank you. As a follow-up thing, Rich provided the aerial where we come up a street, we turn right into the parking lot, and there's parking, and then we take a left for more parking. What area do these cover?
The more parking.
So Matt, do you want to
There's
pull
like
up the,
4 rows of
Yeah.
parking.
yeah, they would be, as you come in, they'd be in the more parking to take that left that you said. So there,
So you go through the main lot, or the first lot, and
First.
then you take that hard left. It's going to be that lot there would be covered.
Both left and right rows.
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
So in this area.
So, on the picture, the aerial, they're the ones with
this
all
block
the
in here,
cars
right?
lined up.
The upper part,
Yeah.
Yeah.
both rows.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the supports would be on the grass at the top and the grass in the triangle? Or the-
Yeah, that,
it'll be in that area, yes. So that way there, we don't lose any parking. But we don't want to impede the sidewalk as well. So we're going to try our best to keep it in between the grass and the sidewalk. But, we're going to do our best once, we do the final survey of it. But we just don't want to lose any type of parking lot, any parking whatsoever.
Just can't block the sidewalk either.
No. You're not blocking the sidewalk.
No, we can't block the sidewalk.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Donna.
Anybody else?
Who's going to own the system?
So I believe this is a PPA with Norfolk, so we'll own the system and the town will get the benefits of the electricity. So we'll maintain the system.
For how long?
That's something we'd have to go over with the BDM with the sales rep for the site. I'm not sure what agreement they made up with the town.
Okay.
Has that already been finalized or is it not done yet?
I don't know. Would Matt or do you know?
I think it's still being worked on, as far as I know.
Okay, so the answer is it's still being negotiated. Okay.
Will we see that before it's finalized or?
You can, yeah. Well, I think who would be the one to speak to Justin, or who's?
I think he's working on it.
So Justin would absolutely have all the information on this, but I could follow up with the town to show any of that. Everything's been signed. I believe the LOI has been signed with the town to move forward on the project. So they already agreed to the PPA rates.
Okay. So we can. Would it be publicly available?
Absolutely, it would be. Yeah, I
I
can.
mean, is it ready to be publicly available? I guess that's the question. Because then we can reference it in the decision. You can have incorporate
Yes.
into the approval.
Yep.
Okay.
I can make sure that the board gets the information on the power purchase agreement.
So then we can incorporate that in the decision.
Okay. Anything else? So would you feel comfortable closing the public hearing, or do you want to wait until you have that information from Justin?
Oh, I didn't know that it was to be maintained by them and not on the town.
Right.
Isn't necessarily a liability we want to take on to maintain in the future.
Right.
I guess I'd like to see what the terms are about length and who's going to remove this thing at some point in time.
Yeah, is there removal? Well, you might not know, right?
Yeah, so that would all be spelled out in the agreement. And what I'll do is, following this meeting, I will send an email out to Gary. He is your BDM on this project, and let him know that the board needs detailed information on the decommissioning as well as the power purchase agreement.
Okay.
So we can make that a condition of approval. That's not a problem.
Does design review committee need to see this at all, or do they have any input on this?
Don't believe it meets their jurisdiction on this, because it's not a building.
There's other solar canopies out in that industrial park. I don't know if you've driven through there recently, but there's,
I just don't know if
No,
they
we haven't,
need to or get to, or...
they haven't, the previous ones,
I don't
no.
think so.
So the question is, so I like to get the time.
We can
Yeah,
ask.
yeah.
get
So I was
that
gonna ask the timing question, Ken, would you know? Like,
On,
well, so there's two options really for the board potentially. One is to close the hearing, get the information, and then draft a decision. That's one option. The second option is to be able to get that information, look at it, and then close the hearing and make a decision at the June 11th meeting. So that's kind of
so we would like to get this built for the town because steel is about 8 to 12 weeks for order on it. So we'd like to get this in for you guys. If we close the hearing, I will make sure that you have the PPA agreement's already with the town.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of making it public to you. That's not a problem. I can make sure that that happens before the end of this week. If we can make that a condition, if you don't have it by a certain date, then we can postpone to the June date. If that works.
The other question,
yeah, maybe the idea is to,
When would engineering documents, it's not going to go to construction because there's no plan yet.
Yeah, we are looking at, but if we got approval today, by the time you have your decision, I think, what do you guys are, 21 days for appeal?
20 days.
20.
Yeah.
20 days. I mean, you'll have all the information you need before then, so we can make that a condition if you don't have the information before the appeal period is over. Yeah, we're looking at, by the time we get the 20 days, I still have design process, which should take about 3 to 4 weeks for steel manufacturing just to get me a design review in fabrication for permitting. So I'm still looking at July, the end of July, before I can even go to permit.
So if we close the hearing on the 11th and issue the decision on the 11th, then 20 days will bring it to,
Yeah.
July 1st, thereabouts.
I think it'd be,
That wouldn't harm your,
I think it'd be
you can
good.
ask
Yeah,
the,
I think it'd be good to keep the public hearing open
yeah.
till the next meeting.
So-
That way we can get the
Yeah,
answers.
if you keep the public hearing open, then we're looking at a 2025 build. This won't get built this year.
Well, but what if we had a decision at the next, like, we don't have a draft decision tonight, so what if we had a draft decision ready at that next hearing? At our next.
Based on the PPA?
Yeah.
I would kindly ask the board just to, if you can just close it with that, using that as a condition, just so I can get all the balls rolling on my end, so we can get this built this year. I'd
We don't have
appreciate that.
an agreement.
It's obviously your decision.
We don't have a decision.
Yeah, we don't
Decide.
we don't have a decision to sign tonight. That's the thing, is, it would be at our next meeting anyway,
Okay.
for the decision.
Yeah, the only thing we'd be doing tonight in terms of, well, actually, not much, actually, in terms of timing wise, because there's not a decision ready to go to file,
Yeah.
to start the clock in terms of the appeal process. I think we're really, I think the timeline doesn't change, actually.
I think,
I don't think we meet that timeline.
yeah.
Is that?
If we don't meet that timeline,
Yeah, there's no,
I mean, the earliest we'd have a decision would be at the next meeting, because we don't have it tonight, so it'd be at the next.
either way,
But
Yeah.
whether we close the public hearing tonight or leave it open, we could still have the draft decision ready at our next meeting. And then we can still ask if we could still ask some questions if there is a need for a design review. I don't think there is, but we can ask. The other thing I did want to bring up is like, so we did not have Beta do any review on this. My opinion is it probably not needed, but I wanted to see what the rest of the board felt.
It doesn't appear to be needed for this. It's solar canopy in a parking lot.
Right.
That's just my opinion.
Well, your opinion matters on this.
Yeah.
Thank you, that's important to me.
What do you think, Eric? You look a little
Everybody's
concerned.
opinion matters.
Didn't we skip some of the Beta on the initial police station review, and then when it went to construction,
Oh,
we kind of
Eric,
find
you're-
some of the stuff that we expected?
You're digging
Full
up,
comment.
you're digging up stuff. Yeah.
There's a movie, it's called Back to the Future, I know what you're saying.
For the other canopy?
No, for the building itself.
That's a whole
Oh.
different. You're
Oh.
talking
No, well,
about a
it's-
whole
we're still
building
talking
site
about,
plan.
we're talking about excavation for foundations here too, right?
You are.
All he's
They'll
gonna have to do is
utility they'll have to do utility locate. And,
Yeah, we do have a full, Matt could speak on this, but we do have a full GPR and geotech on the site,
okay.
as well as a phase 1 environmental.
Okay.
So for,
Which thoughts, Rich?
Can this
You're
go to
muddling
Beta,
through
or do they need full plans?
You kind of need.
This is just a checklist.
This is just a checklist.
Yeah.
You kind of need full plans.
I'm not really, no disrespect, seeing the value of a peer review on this one, because it's already in an existing parking lot.
Right.
But it's not a,
It's adding a parking canopy,
it's in
and it just happened to have solar on it.
We have the guy on the, we have the guy on the meeting who could tell us what we're not thinking of. Phil, do you have any,
What's your expert opinion, Phil?
what are we missing already?
I think the only issue is making sure that there's no erosion caused by the drip edges of the panel. That's about it. So,
Okay.
in this kind of situation, we've reviewed several of these, so there's not many critical issues associated with it,
Okay. Thank you, Phil.
engineering wise.
All right.
that's a good answer.
Yep. So,
Yeah, the only, yeah, so, it's speeded up, actually, so it doesn't,
I think we leave in my opinion,
Yeah.
we leave the public hearing open till the next meeting, but that doesn't mean we stop doing the work. We, they owe us some information, and we can start working on a draft decision and have everything ready at the next meeting. And if we get all the answers we need, which I think we will, we'd be able to close the public hearing and finalize that draft decision at our next meeting in June. That makes sense?
Perfect. It's June 11th, correct?
Yes.
yeah.
And you need the PPA, I'm just making notes so I could just
Yep.
make sure that I send you exactly what you need.
And then we'll check out to see if we need to do a design review board on this. I don't think we do, but just ask. I think that's it.
Excellent.
Okay. All right. Any last questions, comments for anybody? Room, Zoom, board? Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion to continue the public hearing until June 11, 2024 at 7:05 PM.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I will do a roll call vote. Chris?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Eric? Melissa?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. All right. Thank you very much. We'll see.
Thank you for your time.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Yep. Thank
Bye.
you. All right, I'd like to make a motion to resume the 7:20 PM public hearing for 4 Sharon Ave.
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
All right, Chris?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Okay, we are now have a 4 Sharon Ave. If you could introduce yourself.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Dan Merrican with Legacy Engineering, here on behalf of Twins Realty Trust for 4 Sharon's Ave. Betsy, you're going to put the plan up?
It's going to be behind you.
Okay, I can see it in the reflection there. So if you could flip to the second page, which is the existing conditions page. So this site is 0.9 acres. It's vacant presently. To the right is the existing gas station on the corner of Sharon and Dedham. To the left is a single-family home. To the rear is an existing commercial site. It's basically cleared right up to the lot line. And across the street is a commercial site that's partially wooded, partially commercial. If you want to flip to one more page. The applicant proposes to build a 7,400 square foot commercial building, be a multi-tenant building, 4 bays. The site is split right down the middle between the on-highway and the off-highway. So the proposed uses are contractors' bays and also warehouse. Now, the warehouse is only allowed in the off-highway, so that would only be the left 2 bays in the building, not be allowed in the right 2 bays of the building. We have 15, we have basically a circulating one-way driveway system where we come in on the east side of the lot, 20-foot wide driveway. We circulate around the rear of the building and then out on the west side of the lot. We have a row of parking in the back along the commercial property behind us. There's 15 parking spaces provided plus 1 accessible handicap space. We have front doors mostly for show on the front of the building with a little walkway there. We have landscape areas proposed. As you could see, we have a row of landscaping for screening to the left for the existing property adjacent to us at 6 Sharon's Ave. The proposed, we outlined on the plan how we comply with all the various dimensional criteria. It's a 1-story building, about 28 feet high. There's a rendering a little further on that we'll get to. One issue, if you could roll to the next one, please. So this is the lighting plan. So we're not proposing any light poles here. We're proposing 8 wall packs, 3 in the front, 3 on the back, 1 on the left, 1 on the right. They're all downward facing. They're all full cutoff. We don't shed any significant light outside the property. And they're all mounted to the building. The next sheet, please. So this is our utility and grading plan. We have on-site septic, obviously. We have municipal water supply to the building. Our stormwater management is comprised of an underground stormwater infiltration system, very, very good soils on this site, very sandy soils. So we have 2 catch basins in the back, 2 rear corners that are going to be proprietary treatment units, first defense units. And we have 1 first defense unit on the down slope side of the property and then on the right side there at that entrance driveway. And they provide treatment and pre-treatment for the underground infiltration system. And then there's a small overflow discharge pipe that leads off to the north, basically directly to the north of us. I don't know if you can tell what the contours, but there's a stormwater basin there for that property. So that's what abuts us directly to the north, is a stormwater basin. It's an infiltration basin. One of the questions, and I'll just note this now, there's an existing boulder retaining wall across the back property line. We were originally planning to extend that vertically a couple of feet. We've since decided to replace it, so we'll be submitting a revision to you addressing all of Beta's comments, and in that revision you'll see that we're going to replace that with a modular gravity-style retaining wall, and that basically will run along the back edge of the parking lot there. One more page, please. We have proposed, this site is not large enough to trigger EPA Construction General Permit SWIP, but we have basically provided all that content here in our stormwater and sediment control plan. We have construction entrances proposed at the two driveway locations. We'll have perimeter erosion controls. We have a series of notes that outline how to handle stockpiling and erosion control and dust control and things of that nature. So there's really only one waiver, which is traffic. We're asking for a waiver from having to do a full traffic study. We did on the plan provide IT trip generation rates for a building of this size with this use, and we're talking about 45 trips per day, which is a really small amount of traffic. It's an existing, I know that we have some residential homes in the neighborhood, but we're one lot removed from Route 1A, so we think that traffic is ample. Beta has asked us to provide some additional traffic information on the site plan, and we will be preparing a revision to address all of those comments with signage and those issues. So there's really only a couple of things. I don't want to steal Phil's thunder. There's just two items on the peer review that I want to talk about, but if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer those now. Obviously, we've already started working on a full response and revision to Beta's comments, and we anticipate that we'll submit that to you next week.
Okay. Phil, you want to?
Sure. Phil Paris from Beta Group. We've had the opportunity to review this project, visit the site, etc. And a lot of what Dan said is we want to confirm. And generally, it's a well-designed site. The package is well encumbered, and there's some minor administrative stuff to do. The wall was an issue. Also, the screening to the adjacent property to the west. Is that the west?
West, yes.
West. Could be enhanced. I'm not sure what that's going to look like. As Dan mentioned, it's wooded right now. It looks like it's going to be completely cleared. So it's always going to have an impact there. And also the plantings in the adjacent property may be an issue relative to sight distance for vehicles coming out of that driveway to the west. So we just want to make sure that it's not going to be an issue safety-wise. But yeah, right, and we recommend, as we do in all these projects, it's required, but a separate roof recharge system. Yeah, other than that, it's well designed.
Okay. Tenants? Do you have tenants already in mind for this?
We don't. The applicant is going to be one of the tenants. So the applicant has some collectible cars that they would like to store in one of these bays. But beyond that, no, we don't have any tenants.
Okay. Looks like a pretty good design. Any questions? Anybody in the room or on Zoom? I see none.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
For Phil, mostly, and for the board.
Okay.
So your stormwater requirements refer to the subdivision regulations, and the subdivision regulations call for roof recharge to be separate, which makes sense in a subdivision because every house is kind of separated from the stormwater management system. On this site, it didn't make a lot of sense for us to separate that. We could do something where we have two fields that are 5 feet apart. In my mind, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I just wanted to, and the subdivision regs are a little contradictory on whether it's actually a requirement or not. So I wanted to get some feedback from Phil and the board about whether you want me to separate the two systems and just have them be in close proximity, or if it's okay to have it all go into one system.
Phil?
So generally, it's a maintenance type issue. Obviously, roof runoff is primary clean. So keeping them separate is a benefit long term relative to maintenance and potential failure. We would expect pavement systems to have, some sediment trapping and such, and so would likely fail earlier than a roof system. So there is some merit to keeping them separate, but in the and it looks like you have the room to do so. So I would recommend that you do so, but it's really a preference of the board.
Yeah, it's just with the setbacks that are specified to the building and the property line, it all gets tight. I think I can do it. Okay, so I will make an effort to separate those systems.
Okay. Thank you.
I had a question.
Yep, can you get the microphone? And just state your name and address.
Might have to turn it on.
We've done this before, haven't we? Sorry, Phil Shea, Sharon Ave. My question is mostly towards what amount of noise would this facility generate towards the existing residences on the western part of the street?
Very little. All of so the front of the building is just going to look like that. There's a side door basically for the applicant to use to make it easier to get the cars in and out. But all of the activity will be behind the building. The overhead doors that the tenants will use are all behind the building. The parking spaces are all behind the building. There's really no activity in front of the building. So it's essentially just vehicles driving into the site and out of the site is all that happens at the front of the property.
You said about 45 trips a day, 44, something like that.
Yes.
What kind of vehicles are these? It's not heavy machinery, right? It's just...
No, I mean, this is anticipated. The tenants who are not the applicant are anticipated to just be, like an electrician or a plumber or something who needs to store materials in a bay.
Okay.
And they will come in the morning, they would load up their vehicle, and they would go for the day. So it's the type of activity where you see some employees, contractors arriving early, get their stuff, they go off to their job sites, and then they come back at the end of the day.
Gotcha. Did not mean to interrupt you.
No, that's quite all right. Just one last question. This site will not be used for hazardous materials, hazmats, or anything of that nature?
No.
No. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Laura Morrissey, Sharon Ave. We've been on Sharon Ave for over 20 years prior to Shire Drive developing. We've put up with a very similar building diagonally across from us go up over the years, and they've had tenants that have not been, they had bands renting in there. How do we prevent things from going into this building that aren't allowed to be in there? We had a porta potty company, and my concern is we have kids on our street. We were a small little neighborhood, and now all of a sudden everything around us is being sold and being torn down. The house across the street was sold and it's being torn down. So how do we prevent, our neighborhood from becoming all commercial? That's my concern about this building, is that, when they started developing, they reassured us that the traffic wouldn't be a problem. People fly up and down our street all the time. We have truck problems. Yeah, you have signage, but nobody does anything about it. For years, we talked to different people, and nothing has ever happened. Even the police department, not the cars when they're going out to calls, but the workers, they're flying up the street and nobody seems to care. And we have a family, and we like Norfolk, but we've considered moving because of this. And I don't think it's fair that they keep putting up buildings where they're either empty, nobody goes in them. Look at Shire Drive. Shire Drive was not there when I moved into my house. And my concern is that the same thing's going to happen here, that they don't care about the neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other comments? Okay. So, Phil, I think you and Legacy Engineering, you guys will still continue to work through the comments, get those resolved prior to our next planning board meeting, which is in June.
Yep.
And, and then we can look to, if everything's met and we're satisfied, then we can look to close that public hearing at the next meeting. That seem reasonable?
Yes, sounds good.
All right. Well, I will then entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for 4 Sharon Ave to June 11th, 2024 at 7:10 p.m. Okay.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Chris?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye.
Thank you for your time.
Thank
Yep,
you.
thank you very much. All right. That concludes our public hearings for this evening. So our next new order of business is Shire Industrial Park.
Spending a lot of time at Shire.
Yeah, it's a lot of Shire sharing. It's a theme tonight.
Shire.
Yeah.
Well, somewhat weaved into a Shire update in terms of the other two projects, so.
Yep.
As I mentioned, anticipating a July arrival date for that existing conditions plan, the assessment for Shire Industrial Park, which includes the assessment of the utilities in there. Once we get that, sit down with the engineer, kind of go through it. And I would anticipate we probably could be prepared to have the engineer come in maybe at the August meeting to kind of give a kind of state of where we're at.
Yep.
In terms of the infrastructure there. As I mentioned before, the treasurer, their legal counsel is in the process of acquiring the roadway through tax foreclosure, which is, they've noticed parties of interest in terms of acquiring the property through the tax foreclosure process. So I think we're kind of simultaneously line up. So I think there's a fairly good chance by August that we'll actually have that judgment too. And then we can kind of piece this together. One of the things that will be part of the decision is how we treat the, well, actually I'll share it, my view. I could turn the zoning off just to make it a little bit easier to see, but. So this actually here is the end of Shire Drive, which represents which was, I'll put the aerial image on just so we can talk about it. So you can see this here was originally, it's there by a temporary easement. The long-term plan, at least way back when this originally approved, thought it would continue on and connect through the Pond Street, but that's no longer the case. This is a fully developed site now. The solar will be through here. So I'll be sitting down with the two property owners at the end, and town council and Bob Bullock through the building department, just to make sure we do this so there's no harm in terms of zoning wise, to make them non-conforming. So that'll be part of it. Yeah, so we have more work ahead. To couple with that, so my recommendation for 17 and 19 Shire is at least extend their temporary CO, which is just related to the site, to the August meeting. So they will have a better idea of where we're at to try to figure it out. Because both these sites, particularly 17, he held off putting the site here as top coat in.
Right.
Let's see what we're gonna do. We might have a good idea by then. He can either do it to a certain point and then we come back in afterwards. We'll have a better plan, but we wanna blend it in, figure out how we're gonna do that.
I'm not sure if this is related directly to this, but, or if it's a different work stream. And this is just coming off of prior comments that we listened to. We may want to engage in some, and I'll take the lead on this because I guess I'm throwing it out there, but we may want to engage in some community outreach for those folks on Sharon, hey, just as an understanding, this is a commercial zone, yes, properties are going to get bought, built to be commercial, just give them a sense that we are listening, maybe offer suggestions how things can get better if something like traffic really is a nuisance. But, like if the plan here is to fix up some of the stuff, it's clearly more viable now than it was in the past because we've got, three potential new buildings going in there in short order as the rest of the properties fill out. That in its entirety would amount to quite a bit of traffic increases coming down Sharon, or at least up Sharon. So, that there is room to engage, I think, with those lots there. I can see 7 of them, but I might be missing a few. Yeah.
Yes. No, I agree. And I think, part of that should be and can be a conversation with the, police department as well and the dispatch center too, because they're closest there. There is a restriction in terms of no truck traffic through here, this section of it. But I agree.
I've followed trucks. I'm not going to say why. I've followed trucks up that road, so I know that they're not paying attention to it.
Yeah. And it is definitely a challenging situation because I'll just put the zoning on top of this. They are wholly within the commercial district.
I know, well, that's what I was just looking at when the resident was just speaking. I was looking at the district that they're in, and it's a commercial district, so.
A lot of people don't, sometimes just, it's not that they even don't realize it is mentioned by their realtor, but if they bought, she said 20 years ago, there was nothing, there was nothing there. There was Provo, in Crowley's, and that was it. The gas station wasn't there.
Are you in a commercial district?
Right, so.
Right.
Yeah, no, why is it not? Well, anyway.
I'm willing to help, but if you haven't noticed that, I've been like Mr. Community Outreach the last 3 days, so I'm more than willing to help with that.
Sure.
You have.
No, point taken. I think whatever, and maybe there's some additional things that we haven't thought of that we could do to kind of help with that.
Well, if the police are the ones speeding, who do we call? Chicken and egg problem.
Yeah, that's a problem.
It is a problem. Yeah.
How do you get speed bumps put in?
That's
I think we've successfully done that on one street in town, right? Everett?
Everett, yeah.
Yeah, so
what's the process behind it? You have to.
So I would tell you, we generally frown against speed bumps.
Sure.
Because then there's the added potential noise of them. However, techniques you really could do is where you choke down, if you will, chicanes, where you really narrow the road, so you really all of a sudden you got a little physical infringement in terms of driving, so it makes you slow down.
Does it? It also seems like it could just make you crash head-on into somebody else if you're making it smaller. Right? You're just making it more narrow?
We have options. We can look at them. I think step one would be like, let's engage with the community a bit. Make sure they're aware, like this is commercial.
First point of that is commercial. It's been commercial. We could take a look just to go back in terms of the history. I'm pretty confident it's been commercial well before. We'll take it. We'll take a look at when the houses went in terms of the district. and just to get that information, just to.
We can get feedback,
Yeah,
and if there are
sure.
issues, we can act as a liaison between the proper departments
Yeah.
in town that can look at, DPW can look at options for.
Immediately, we can,
Immediately, I would think, discussions of the chief, just remind personnel and dispatch at least.
Yep.
It is a neighborhood.
that's right.
Anyway, I just want to bring that up.
Yeah, no, point taken.
Yep.
The house across the street that just sold, that she said is being torn down, used to be a tavern.
Really?
Huh. Okay.
Maybe it will be again.
No.
All right.
Huh?
Rich, anything else on
That's
your
the vet.
Shire Park update?
Oh, she's talking about hers. Okay. I'm sorry, never mind.
Anything else on your Shire Park update?
No, I think that cut, well, in terms of, the update's good. You want to
I think we should,
skip over that and vote to extend the temps, and then we'll go back to the street acceptance topic?
since we're on a theme of Shire Park, yes, I think we should talk about 17 Shire and 19 Shire. So, yeah, I mean, there's a request to extend the temporary occupancy until probably after our August meeting, because we should have that report. Should have the report by July,
Yeah, just
and we
give
can
them a little room.
and we'll try and do a in-person debrief at our August meeting. So, I mean, and that all hinges on what they're doing to finish their sites. So,
Not that matters, but that's on my anniversary. So,
okay. Do we need to, we can, that's a later agenda item, talk about rescheduling the meeting.
Okay. All right.
So,
I'd consider going even longer because we keep
yeah.
dragging them in.
We could definitely do that. There's no harm in doing that either.
That's a lot of their time.
Yeah, can we push it out, and then if they need to pull it in, they can, versus like, they need to move it at the last minute, and we have to have the.
Yeah, we could certainly do that. And we could do it through the end of the year.
What are you
if want.
recommending?
At least to the end of the year.
Yeah.
Think until December?
It's probably a wise decision.
Mid-December?
Yeah.
So, like a week after our December meeting?
Yes.
So what's, maybe like December 15th?
Because
17th?
Eventually, don't we have to hear about fall town meeting with whatever money is gonna need to go towards this and
Well,
don't drag
another,
them into that.
right.
Let's put
Yeah.
it out beyond all that.
Yeah, there's a money piece this. Quite
Okay,
figured out yet.
But we're talking about Shire at 19 and 17.
Yeah, no, I know.
So-
December makes sense.
Okay.
Yes.
That sound good, everyone? Just extend it till December? All right. So, I'm assuming you want two motions, right?
Yes, please.
So, entertain a motion to extend the temporary occupancy permit for 17 Shire Drive until December 17th, 2024.
Sure.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, Chris?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. So, like to entertain a motion to extend the temporary occupancy permit for 19 Shire Drive until December 17th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motion seconded. All those in favor, Chris?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. All right, so those are done. Street acceptance?
Yeah, so Betsy and myself, Blair Crane, Amanda Johans from the Select Board office met about a week or two ago to work on accepting streets that have not made it all the way through the process. So these are acceptance of streets that were approved through the planning board over the year. You have a list there, actually. So we,
These are the ones that weren't recorded, even though they were voted to be accepted?
Couple of them.
couple of those,
Okay.
but there's more than just that
Okay.
for this list, to work towards getting those accepted for the fall. If you want to look at the list, but
I think Canterbury is Berry.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yep, that was my fault.
Oh, okay.
Is all of Massachusetts Avenue not accepted?
No, it's
Just a part of it?
The old original section.
Yeah, that's funny. I almost bought a house
Section
there.
in the Christina Estates,
Yeah,
that was accepted.
interesting.
All right, so you want to just go down the list?
Yeah, well,
So Ariana, that's, I mean, they're close.
yeah, they were close. So I don't see that being an issue to get that done in the fall. Just need to get Tony G. Martino, have been in contact with him to get the deeds, so we get that cleared up, make sure everything's squared away with conservation, and so that one should be relatively, hopefully, easy to take care of. Toils End Road, I'm hoping that that's pretty easy to do.
That one was accepted in 2012
Right, but the deed wasn't
Never
recorded.
recorded.
within 120 days.
120 days.
And there's still a $33,000 bond outstanding that they haven't cared about. Didn't they ask about that ever?
What is this for?
This is for...
Road, street acceptance, so.
It has to meet
the-
certain criteria.
Yeah, the town has to go through, the DPW goes out, and maybe you explain it better, Rich.
Yeah, it was-
But you got a bond, you got a deed, you got DPW acceptance.
So right now, we're talking about subdivision roads that are approved by previous planning boards that were laid out for these subdivisions in town. And the roadway themselves, the intent was that they would become public ways, public roads that would be maintained by the town. These here have not made it all the way through to be accepted as public ways, so we're going in and we'll get these through town meeting.
Right, so they're not maintained by the town, or they are?
There's general maintenance that goes on in terms of snow plowing, that kind of thing.
Sure.
But in terms of more maintenance than that, no.
Okay.
Hopefully in most of these cases, this is, if you will, this is the
Easy ones.
These are the easy ones.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. Very well put. We're starting off with the easy ones. Yeah, to go through it. So we're starting there. We got to continue to work our way.
That's another tab.
I didn't show the other list yet, so.
So
That's for another day.
with these bond amounts, like, some of these are pretty high up there, like Toils End, Eric Road Extension.
Yeah.
Like, do we get to claim that? Are these the, like,
Well, we get to use them for, if we need anything, in terms of getting them, you know,
To bring them into
bring them.
compliance.
oh, okay.
Accept.
And then we have to release them once
And then
it's
we-
accepted? Yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah, we're gonna release it. Yeah, it's possible, yeah, so we use it and then we can return it. So hopefully these are, quote unquote, easier to address. We didn't put Bristol Pond in there, do we?
What's that?
Bristol Pond's on here, right?
It's on my other list. Were we gonna put it on this list?
Yeah, we're gonna move Bristol Pond to this list.
Okay.
Where's Bristol Pond?
This is a fair amount of work to be done there, I think, and trying to close it out. So we'll have more in-depth discussion. So in terms of closing out, just to give you a idea what I'm speaking about is,
I thought we decided, Bristol Pond for next, for 2025. No?
yeah, I think we did, but we probably need to start
You
soon.
wanna put that back on?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be on the list, but it's gonna take some time. So there was a bunch of landscaping. This subdivision had a very high amount of landscaping requirement when it was originally approved through the planning board. Some of that landscaping wasn't complete, and some of that landscaping relates to on the lots within the subdivision. So they went beyond just on the public areas in terms of the roadway itself, the cul-de-sacs. The developers kind of sold these lots off, so it wasn't seamlessly built out. It's kind of a mishmash, so there's quite a few things to try to bring together to get this closed out. Some homeowners have actually since moved on. They've moved out of the subdivision, still in Norfolk, but they've moved on. But there's some there, so it's pretty challenging to try to get this done. I think it could be, if it's approach it reasonably and come up with a solution, I think we can. The developer's not really a developer, too. It was a developer that decided to do development, but doesn't really necessarily do development. So those are always kind of, I say cutting your teeth, so to speak, learn how to be a developer. I think that's the one and only one, so. Yeah, it's not on here, but I think we need to kind of start the process.
Okay.
All right? There's always little,
Put it back on my list.
yeah, I guess I would say with these things, there are always little Easter eggs,
Yeah, but
right?
right, Easter, okay. Yeah.
Right? So that's
but
kind of a more modern,
But the
kinda
goal is
techie
you're gonna
term.
work on
Yeah.
pushing these forward through fall.
Yeah,
Which
we are.
which really means
so which
they
means
need to
that
be
we have,
done by,
it's gotta be done by August, pretty close.
yeah, early September, late August.
Yeah, we have to know, like, going into August meeting, that we're in good, that we can roll these forward.
Right.
Because with them, because the select board is gonna have to hold a public meeting to accept them, they're gonna need to refer them back to you for your opinion, advisory board's gonna wanna know, plus so forth and so on, so.
So then, so what are the, obviously you're gonna reach out to the developer of all these, then is Blair doing an assessment?
He's doing, yeah, we're working with him as well, so.
Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of it is definitely a team effort.
There you go. Okay. All right.
And then in the end, just so for your own information, once that gets accepted, it's put on record, the registry of deeds, the vote and so forth. It is then officially a public way. We can then add that to our list of public ways, and then that allows us to get more Chapter 90 money for roadway maintenance. So we get credit for it. So it's important to get this
Oh, yeah, it's
through the process.
It's
That makes sense.
a huge benefit for us to
Yeah,
push these forward, get them wrapped
Yeah.
up. I mean, it's a safety concern
Right.
for the people who live there, and
Right.
yeah.
which is, this topic is, just so you know, you go to town meeting tomorrow, this is completely separate from
Street acceptance.
whatever article it is.
In fact, we don't have any street
Oh,
acceptance on
no.
town meeting for tomorrow.
I don't have my
forget the
warrant.
article, but-
27? Article
Yeah,
27?
that's temporary repairs, that's not, we're not talking about that.
No.
Just,
Okay.
there's a lot of mishmashing of topics here, so I just wanted to be clear, we're not talking about that. All right?
Will do.
It is 27.
27, yeah. Completely not related to that.
All right.
All right, excellent. So,
Next is,
the sign permit for the town.
yes,
Why are you smiling?
I don't have it.
I could frown.
No.
No.
Neutral demeanor, please.
Very last page.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a separate packet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in that,
It was an addendum to the packet.
It was.
Now, the board, you did a great job in going through the sign bylaw, making some changes to it. So that's a step forward. I
Yes.
just want you to know that, you know, to be able to utilize that portable sign, town-wide, being internally illuminated is not permissible under the sign bylaw right now. It's only for the C districts, the B districts, the C4 and C6.
Not even by special permit?
Not even by special permit. So, it's worth, I would say, consideration, maybe take a look at this for the fall.
Well, So we're missing the residential districts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Primarily we're missing the residential district. So for example, if you were, going to activity at the school and there was a sign there, one of our portable signs.
Can't do it.
Really, you can't really do it.
Oh, yeah, because it's all residential.
So it's
on
residential.
both entrances to the school.
Yeah, and it's gonna have to be very carefully worded too. Well, I guess it's by special permit, so we'd be able to see it, but in the
Yeah.
residential districts, that's not something that people are going to want to just be broadly available.
No, but yes, we need to.
It's just a sidebar.
That's
to this.
right.
It's a sidebar.
It's a sidebar for tonight, though.
For
But you're
tonight.
right. That is zone residential, and you're right. It's B1 in or outer, C1 on up.
But you can still use the rotary carol for the elections, right? Or the DPW, whoever's using it.
What is it?
The rotary, yeah.
Yeah, the rotary.
Yeah, the rotary's fine.
Can be
Yep.
used.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, you can. Chris, I don't know if you had a chance to look at it. Hopefully I wordsmithed the condition that you wanted, or at least I know you all wanted, but I tried to, in terms of coming back, in terms of that permanent sign.
Yes. I see that as condition number 2.
Number 2. That was my,
I was thinking a billboard on the water tower, but apparently that was too ambitious. So we'll see what they come back with.
billboard on the, yes. No billboard. So you're all
Okay.
okay with it?
What's the part with the different phases of construction in number 1? The sign will move to different locations in order to not interfere with the different phases of construction.
Oh, yeah. That might have been carryover from the, was that a carryover from the, fire, conditions of approval number 1?
Yes, it
It
is.
says the sign will move to different locations in order to not interfere.
Not interfere with the different phases of
With
construction.
different phases of
Not
construction.
interfere.
Good catch, Melissa.
Yeah, nice.
Not interfere with.
It doesn't need to be there for this, whatever it is, it's not.
How
Second to
about the
last.
sign will move to different locations, will move to different locations,
I think it just should end at different locations.
right? Period?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Does the second to
that-
last paragraph need to be there at all?
On which page?
The last, on page 405?
Oh, wait,
That's
hold on,
what it
wait. So the sign will move to different locations as a conditions of approval? That sounds weird.
Well, you allow it to move to different locations.
It's mobile. It's designed to do that.
Right.
You have to allow it to.
I'm just
We're
saying.
just saying we allow it to.
All right. It just sounded weird to me, that's all.
It is weird.
Okay, at least we're in agreement.
Yeah, I'm not,
So it's gonna be constructed.
I'm not saying,
I would take that out.
Yeah, we'll take that part out, the
Yeah.
construction part out.
So the sign will move to different locations. Do we have to add anything in there, like as allowed in districts or whatever, so that if anybody else sees this, they don't just think we've approved for the sign to move, the town to move the sign anywhere, because we just talked about it not being available in residential, for now anyway.
yeah, I suppose you can just,
As,
reference back to the,
or you could just say as permitted. The sign will move to different locations as permitted. Or.
So really quickly, is this one in the folder?
Yeah, it should be Chris.
What's it called?
It's the town sign SP decision draft?
Yep.
All right, so which section are you looking at? I don't see the words you're talking
It's,
about.
on page 3, it's under the conditions of approval, number 1.
Okay, now I see.
The last sentence is
Yeah, it just,
To
yeah,
adjust.
it just doesn't add up.
Can we just say the sign will move to different locations within the, and then name the districts where it's allowed,
Yeah, we can put the districts in.
just to make it more specific?
We can recite them. I know it's in that section of the
Yeah.
bylaw, but we can put them in there. Sure.
Right, within B1 inner and outer, C1, C1A, C1B, C1C, C4, and C6 zoning districts.
I think that makes sense.
Any concerns with April 2027 being so far away?
We did have a discussion on this as to the date.
we did.
I'm just making
Don't
sure.
remember 2027 being the
I don't
answer we
remember
came up
2026.
with.
I think Chris was, Chris, you were the one that said 1 year, right?
It was, I think I.
Yeah, I was hoping for something a little bit shorter.
I think we,
Hold on,
somehow it ended up to be 3.
Yeah.
let me read,
thinking it
let me
was-
check the minutes, like.
There was a reason for this. There was, but I don't remember being 2027, but there was a reason, because I think Chris and I were both like, hey, it should be sooner.
Or is it 24? It was either 12 or 24 months.
Yeah, I think it was 24 months.
Was it 24?
You think it's 24 months?
24?
Let's just look at the minutes.
Period of 24 months.
Okay, so that should be
2026.
2026 then. So condition 2
So we'll
should
change
be
that to
April of
2026.
2026.
Thank you.
Okay.
So Eric mentioned, why don't you finish?
Well, there's two things. Following condition 2, it talks about appeals in 20 days, file with the clerk. And
That's
there's a
boilerplate.
I think you have to have that.
very similar next paragraph that says the same type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
In the following sentence, it's its own paragraph.
Yeah, I think
Commencement of
there's
work.
some weird copy paste thing going on with the second, between the third and fourth page. I think the appeals language on the third page is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we can strike out the first paragraph of page 4. I don't think we need, that's not relevant, the next paragraph prior to the commencement of work, proof must be. And then the third paragraph is valid, special permit, they have 12 months.
Must be exercised. No, we're allowing it for 12 months, right?
No, it's, once you use it. You have to exercise it.
So you actually have to use the special permit.
Yeah,
You just
within
can't
1
hold
year.
on to it forever and then 8 years later
Yeah.
say, we're gonna build that sign now.
So revisiting this, I probably would, if you don't mind, propose getting rid of the appeals language
On the second page.
on the bottom of page 3.
Bottom page
Okay,
3.
that's fine.
Keep page 4, yep.
Yeah, because that is more standard language.
Yep. What about the prior to commencement of work?
No.
So third paragraph on page 4. That doesn't-
Probably not needed,
That doesn't
no.
seem to make sense.
In this case,
In
I'm
this
not,
situation,
in this situation, yeah.
right.
I'm not sure we need the,
Okay. So, just to summarize, condition 1, we're gonna strike part of that last sentence that says, in order to not interfere, and then we're gonna add, within,
Specified zones.
yeah, within these specified zones. And then, condition number 2, we're gonna change the date from 2027 to 2026. Bottom of page 3, we're gonna strike that whole paragraph where it starts with appeals. And then page 4, we're gonna strike the second paragraph, which starts with prior to the commencement of work. Does that make
I
sense?
think that's everything.
Okay. All right, everyone good with that?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, so I would I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the special permit application decision number 2024-05, sign permit application. It is a special permit application for a sign.
With that, it's-
With the following adjustments or amendments to the way it's written. And that would be on page 3, conditions approval number 1. We're gonna strike part of the last sentence that starts with, we're gonna strike where it says, in order to not interfere with the different phases of construction, and add different
Within-
locations. Within the B1 inner and outer C1, C1A, C1B, C1C, C4, and C6 zoning districts. Then, conditions of approval number 2, we're gonna change the date from April of 2027 to April of 2026. We are going to, also on page 3, strike the last paragraph that starts with appeals, if any. Then on page 4, we're going to strike the second paragraph that starts with prior to the commencement of work.
I don't fix that.
Oh, is this part of my question? Oh.
Right. Would someone like to move that, or is there a?
So moved.
Okay. Do I have a second?
You did it again.
Not doing it. All right. Any discussion before we vote? Erica, did you have another, was there another amendment? I mean, are we good, or?
No, it's part of the
Okay.
zoning underlying.
All right. So we'll do a roll call vote. All those in favor? Chris?
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
The chair votes aye. And what would be your opinion, Christian?
It looks good.
All right. So it would be an aye. All right. And, all right.
I have a signature page for you.
So that is unanimous with those revisions. Okay.
Wonderful.
Town planner update.
Well, we'll going into prep for town meeting, just quickly, kind of recap.
Quickly, yeah.
When's town meeting?
I think it's tomorrow.
At 4:30, I heard.
4:30.
Oh, don't-
I heard 5.
4:30.
This is recorded. Everybody, it's,
It's 7
sorry,
o'clock.
it's 7 o'clock town meeting.
7 o'clock tomorrow at the middle school.
The middle school.
Yes.
Well, they have something prior to 7, right? Is it-
Select board meeting at 5 o'clock in the cafeteria
Right.
of the middle school.
Okay.
Yes.
Select board's at 5, and then
Advisory board is at 6.
advisory
6.
board's at 6.
You do need to pop into advisory though, and you are posted because
Yeah.
they have to vote on Article
Article
25.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
There's a lot
Haven't
going on.
voted on Article
So
20.
we,
No, because we had another hearing.
Oh, okay.
so do we all need, that's a good question. Do we all need to be there at 6?
I'll be there at 5
Yeah. I'll
for
probably
moral
be there
support.
at 5 as well.
And,
I think you're the door guy, right? Or you're the door, you're,
The bouncer?
yeah, the bouncer.
Bouncer?
I have a bad leg. Who am I gonna?
Gotta bring your cane, man. You know?
Start
Well, at least make sure you're there for the
Advisory board.
advisory board at
Yes.
6.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
5 o'clock's
In the
optional.
library, in the library.
In the library, yeah.
Board's library.
So select board's 5 in the
Cafeteria, advisories in the
Advisories.
library.
Library.
6 in the library.
Oh, I don't get
Gymnasium or the auditorium.
With the candlestick, with Mr. Plum. Yeah.
Colonel Mustard did it again.
Yeah. All right. So that takes care of logisticals. On the screen was a collaborative effort to put together the presentation for Article 25.
Yep.
This slide presentation is in your shared drive, and this one will be the one that will be available to speak to at town meeting. point to some particular adjustments from last week's public forum. Scroll down. This is pretty much all the same. I think this is kind of the bread and butter that
I like this one.
changed from last meeting. So this slide, which is 9, and the next one after this is 10, which will be Pondville, will be available for handouts. So there'll be color handouts for town meeting tomorrow night for people to have a close look at it. We did actually, Amanda put in Article 25 on the header for these, just,
Okay.
That makes sense.
all right.
When I speak through this one,
Yep.
I'm going to say likely redevelopment potential, right? Because I don't want people to think that entire redevelopment potential, like it is highly unlikely somebody's going to buy up all of Meeting House Road and tear it down and build on that, right?
So, good point. In terms of presentation tomorrow night, the basis for this is that Meeting House, the Village of Norfolk, which is on the other side of on Rockwood Road,
Boyd's Crossing are not.
They're not
likely candidates.
For redevelopment
Anytime in the near future.
Correct, because they're multi-owned condominium townhouse development. So we took that off the table in terms of this illustration here. It still counts in terms of the meeting of state requirements, but to try to illustrate potential build-out.
I mean, that's what's going to matter most, I think, from the questions that we've gotten from people is, and then Walter, of course, mentioned that again the other night. But do you think it's worth showing what is already built out that generally meets? So, because then if you see Boyd's Crossing and you know that generally meets these requirements, then it's not so scary. Versus like if you're just picturing apartment buildings or, and you don't really know what it looks like. I'm just wondering if we should show what's already developed. Because before, so what was in this slide was every single parcel and what was on it. And now it's not clear because it's only redevelopment and not what's already built, which I think is part of what makes people feel better when they hear it, is that a lot of these are already built.
Yeah, I mean, we can do that. My preference would be to keep it very short and answer those questions if they come about.
Or just say it in your messaging.
So, like, I'm just assuming for most of the folks who end up going to town meeting, a lot of them are not new to town meeting, and if we say Boyd's Crossing or Meeting House Road, they know what those developments are, right? So just saying them, I think, is the picture, but yeah, I mean, should we emergency supplemental? Well, it's too late to send in slides, so yeah.
Yeah, it's too late, but
Okay.
I think
So it
you
was
just
a
gotta speak
decision
to it.
in terms of the editing process to take out those
ones?
pictures, yep, and also to take out potential built, because of that could create more confusion of what the idea of this was to simplify in terms of
This
potential.
makes sense too. I mean, the only ones that are missing really are the ones that you know off the top of your head anyway.
Right. And I think, having this laid out this way and saying there are no greenfield potential projects here. There's no build out from scratch. This would all have to be redevelopment, might give some understanding and calm to those that might be worried about this. I'm going to keep it simple again, but if people ask the questions, I can point out if it's not obvious, because I still hate the orange line, that, no, this is not those two lots across from Walgreens. No, this is not KMK Cleaners building. Like, we have, gerrymandering is not the right word, but it's the closest word we have for what this is.
Yeah.
And these are the most conservative in terms of numbers. This is literally mathematics. Acreage times 18
units per acre.
Right.
Times the acreage available. This does not, and there used to be an asterisk, I think. This is not taking away acreage for wetlands, et cetera. This is just raw numbers. So the real likelihood would actually be a lesser number than this.
Yeah, because we haven't we haven't, these numbers don't contemplate a stormwater system,
Right,
septic
yeah.
system, add it all up.
Yeah.
This
This is
is
just raw acreage.
raw acreage, worst case scenario under those development scenarios. And then we go to Pondville, which is a little bit different because we do have some vacant,
We do have.
and then potential redevelopment.
But I think, one, this was asked of us to do, so we did it, so that's good.
Yep.
The extra benefit is seeing the holistic whole numbers here, because people say, we allow 450 now, and that's huge. 750 is ginormous, and then you're like, no, but look at the total likely build-out. We're not even hitting 350 units.
Hopefully this is effective for town meeting, because the idea to try to understand that the way the state guidelines put this together, it's like playing Monopoly, clean the slate off, pretend nothing's there, and then this is it's a game in a way, really, right? This is what you get. Well, that's not really reality. This is more grounded to what's out there.
Yeah, that's a good point, that it is less units than what was expected in the B1
Definitely,
process.
I mean, like,
When zoning.
we've been working on this for a long time, and I was like, oh, that's a much lower number than I thought.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 750 sounds high, right? I mean,
very high.
and that number is now thrown around a lot. To Rich's point, when you throw numbers out, they stick. But so now I see 750 everywhere. I'm like, no, it's not really 750.
Well, that's what really came from last Thursday night's forum, right? Because Walter was like, hey, what is this number? And I'm like, well,
Right, it's
What is it
confusing.
really?
He's not the only one that would pick that out,
Right.
though.
no, it's good. It's a great question.
It was really good.
It's just, this is the kind of challenge to translate this down to town meeting level in terms of, if you're not in this all the time, like, oh, here's a unit capacity, you gotta put it in some model, blah, blah, blah. But that's not what really comes out in the end, because you still have to put a septic system, you got storm, you got all these other components to it.
Right.
And so hopefully this can message it.
And then the setbacks, the height of the building, there's so many
Setbacks, height of the
factors.
buildings.
That's probably the other thing, Gary, that you would want to mention at some point is, these are the theoretical numbers, just mathematical. That doesn't mean they can build it based upon like setbacks, septic.
There's realistic,
And-
or there's realities that will interfere with this. This is just that would interfere with development. This is just for simplicity's sake, the raw numbers.
Yep.
More or less conservative, not quite worst case scenario, but pretty close to it. I'm not going to use that terminology, by the way.
Yeah.
And also, you decide what do you think, but in terms of, this is not 40B either, right? So this has to comply.
I think, and everybody here can pitch in, or Chad will probably get the most of them because he's the chair, or I'll be stuck at the microphone
And I should
possibly,
have
and I
passed
will
that
be.
chair roll on.
But these are questions that just as a reminder, these are honest questions coming from people who are taking the time to show up at town meetings, so we do have to answer them, and we might have different variations of the same question about 40B and other things that are gonna. Other things going on that are going to get merged into this conversation. So we just got to, stick to the script, keep to the facts, everything we find. This is a good initiative. I think this is very strategic and smart. I put that in my notes to talk about as well when I give the presentation. And we'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Can you flip back to the other screen for a second? I didn't catch the thing at the bottom with the total acreage. I'm trying to read that.
60.24. 60.25.
Yeah, it's 81 total between the two of them in the bylaw, so we rounded up.
The two different districts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the good thing about this, if you had to speak to it, the green diagonal is the excluded land.
Yeah.
From the district. If you need to speak to it, so.
Okay.
And the rest?
Yeah, we're not going through the whole slideshow at town meeting. Gary's going to
so
give
it'll be
highlights on
4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Sorry, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, then we're going to jump to 15, which is the how would no vote, what would a no vote be, like what would the impacts be?
Yep.
And we're, and then the thank you slide. And then if we need a backfill, we'll backfill, but
Yeah.
we'll just say,
And
hey,
again-
this is available to everybody, and those of you that watched it either live or, viewed it on your computers, thank you very much, but we're just going to, it's the highlight show.
Right, and again, from last week, this got changed, which is a good point about, in terms of how this is
The
reworded.
heading, yeah.
Yeah, so,
Yep, before it was known impacts.
Right.
Known
This
Right.
is how
Now
it, this is much clearer.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the feedback's been great. Every time we get feedback, we've been making this better. So,
yeah,
okay.
there's a couple.
I don't know if you want to go into that.
I'm not
slide.
going into that slide. Then I'll just have them jump to
Yep.
2 slides forward to thank you slide, and then,
Yep.
mention that.
Well, I can tell you that for your own, Walpole did pass theirs.
Good.
So did Sharon. I didn't get an updated running tally from the state, but I did see that.
Okay.
They'll have a big ticker board at town meeting where
Yeah, they
like
have the
towns
ticker
just
board,
flip
but-
as they vote.
Yeah, you know what, I was actually, so speaking of Sharon approving it, part of the conversation, I wasn't there, but a friend was, and he was telling me that he was concerned that it was actually going to start taking away Chapter 70 funding or go even beyond those 3 buckets of money, and I was like, oh, that's interesting, we haven't talked about that at all, and I don't know that that would happen, but that was discussion at their meeting. That it could go further than this. If there's too many people pushing back, they could cut deeper, which could go into the already short funding that we see currently. I don't know that that's
weird
true.
That's interesting.
That it would
would seem
happen?
like a pretty big overreach.
It would
'cause
be a lot, yeah.
Zoning doesn't have anything to do with schools.
Right. But since
funding
it is state
perspective.
funding,
Yeah.
I guess you never
No,
know.
that's a really
I-
touchy topic in terms of like that kind of, I get it, but,
Yeah.
Okay.
so again, that's the slide for, the slides.
I will use key terms like precision and strategic.
Oh, nice, okay.
Just to-
Beautiful.
So that's,
When will you use precision?
It's at the beginning. I say, I am here precisely to describe these slides to you.
excellent.
And then you're going to circle back and discuss the ROI?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And all the synergies. Chris knows the drill.
Yep.
And if you look at on camera, Chris, so this is our other handout, which is the table, color-coded table of uses. Pretty good,
Yeah, someday we're gonna get those colors right.
pretty good.
Next time.
They look great on the screen.
They look awesome on the computer screen.
I know, it's tricky.
Yeah, and full disclosure, on the screen looks great. I mean, this is,
You can read it though, it's fine.
You can read it.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I told them. I said,
for those that need glasses, reading glasses, once I put them on, I can read it.
Okay, good.
All right? So,
It's low light in the auditorium.
yeah, I was gonna say, because
it is low light, so that's not, I don't know how that'll.
Do we have a budget? Can we get those little flashlights with like the...
Little
Well, it's a little
lamps.
tight budget
We don't
time.
have a budget.
Remember, they're bringing the torches, so
Bring
With
it right back to the beginning.
No.
Well, you could now, because you got a phone, you could have it.
oh, that's true.
Okay.
Right, that's the monitor. So anyway, that's the rundown for tomorrow night.
Field tested it and it went
Field
over
tested, overall, yeah, I think
All right.
it's pretty good.
It's an improvement over what was printed in the warrant. It's very hard to read what's printed in the warrant on that recycled paper that looks like newspaper.
Well, and it's black and white.
Yeah.
You
So
can't
this is it perfect? No, but is it a huge improvement? Absolutely.
Yes.
And it looks really good on a computer screen. But
We'll do the light green, the lighter green next
this
time.
was the light green.
That's not, that doesn't look.
We did,
know.
wait, no.
No. So-
We tried a neon green earlier and it was like...
Oh, bad.
It was really bad on the
This-
screen.
This is the light green highlight.
Oh,
Yeah. I know, right?
That is the light green.
It's so weird. That's, yeah.
it's fine though, you can read it. I
Yeah.
mean,
How many are they
anybody needs-
printing?
I think 125.
Because Rich printed it out here, I printed this at home, and it looks the exact same on
Same thing,
my inkjet, and yours is probably a laser jet. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
weird. This is the green highlight.
Well, it's better than what it was, and I think that's clear enough. And
I got a feeling she doesn't quite, you're not buying, are you?
No, I believe you guys.
Yeah, I don't think
All
she's
right.
buying it. She's
No,
gonna
I
go home and
believe-
test it now.
I was gonna say, I don't
She's
think I've
gonna go
ever
home and-
printed.
Melissa is
the
gonna go home and
green.
test it.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, until you go through the print process, yeah, definitely learn.
So we have three things tomorrow.
Three things.
So we have a community report for the master plan,
Yes.
which I'll do. Then the MBTA article is moved up. Jay's gonna mention
Right.
that is moved up to right after the community reports. So then that'll just roll into, after community reports, I'll hand it off to you. So that article's gonna go out of order.
yeah, okay.
And then we'll finish up all the other articles, and then we'll get back to the use table.
Used to.
And
Right.
so then
Yep.
I'll speak to that.
So the use table stays where it's supposed to be, but the other, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can I borrow your pen real quick?
It's Article 26, the use table. So just,
Yep. Yeah, it's Article 26.
that's the rundown. And then we should shift gears just quickly to, as you know, fall, right around the corner. The presentation from GFI went well with the select board following Monday. We actually have a Zoom meeting scheduled tomorrow with Josh to gear up in terms of drafting bylaw changes for Southwood.
And didn't GFI have a PIP meeting last week?
So that's coming up,
Or it's coming up?
23rd,
Okay, all right.
23rd of May.
So in a couple weeks.
Yep.
All right.
That's a fully remote meeting. Now, what's your thoughts of maybe changing the special permit in the fall? I know we kind of held off in the spring to make it coincide with the state law.
Changing the what?
Special permits, ours are only, it's a mishmash in our zoning bylaws. The state lots have 2 years, but all the other special permits have a year to exercise them. State law allows up to 3 years.
Oh,
So there was a lot of stuff going on now. You don't have to answer tonight, obviously, but maybe we bring it forward in the fall to give consideration. So it's unified across the board.
Okay.
It helps applicants, because quite honestly, maybe a year was a long time years ago, but a year kind of, I don't know.
It can take a long time.
It seems
to
like
get
a year
project,
goes by
yeah.
fast.
Okay,
This
that makes
thing.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then maybe there could be stuff related to center of town with the commercial residential mix.
Okay.
And then at some point, we'll have to revisit the ADU. Because the more I talk, every time I talk to more and more seniors, I was shocked that they knew what an ADU was, but at the senior center, this woman was really, recently, it's like, we really need to get those ADUs. It's so, it's not affordable anywhere around here. And if for people that want to have their parents live with them, so they don't have to buy an expensive house or, a condo where you have massive HOA fees, which we see all over the place, having an ADU in the yard, you could, it doesn't have to be like anything. Obviously, it wouldn't be big, it usually isn't, but maybe working on that at some point could help.
Like a tiny home?
It's not well, it could be.
I mean,
Could
just
be.
a garage, could it be a garage converted to a?
I guess it depends. It depends how we do it. Usually it's detached, but it doesn't have to be. Like in-law apartment would typically be attached, but an ADU is typically separate.
Detached.
But it could be, the bylaw could include, Gary, a garage if you want to convert it to, have both garage and a accessory dwelling unit.
Yeah.
And would it be something we'd be looking to limit it to family members only, or?
That's where it gets tricky.
That's where it gets tricky, because.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that.
I don't know that you can do that legally. We could certainly ask
No,
legal
we'd
counsel, but I know in Rentham it actually does say that, and there's like very specific requirements, like it's basically an in-law apartment, not an ADU, but requirements is like must have a door that goes into the house, and so I think it's more to try to push you to stay with family because you wouldn't want a stranger having access to your house. I don't know. It seemed very strange to me, the Rentham one. I was surprised it got past their council team.
Well, it'd be something we could start looking at. I don't know if we could have it ready for fall, but
No, probably not.
at least start.
I think there'll be a lot of
start the
research.
work. Yeah, do start the research.
Well, you certainly,
Let's see.
you could look at both. So one, you could have it attached to the single-family home. And then the other one would be separate. I will say, though, we'll have to look at some other towns. Enforcement of that, going down the road to make it family is
Yeah.
a very challenge, very hard to enforce that.
It is. I mean, you can limit the number of bedrooms and, all
Yeah.
sorts of other things, but,
Yeah, because quite honestly, in some cases, an accessory dwelling could be a source of rental income for somebody to stay in their primary home,
that's
too.
true.
Right.
It may, it has some other options, too. So, but your point's taken. And then actually, I think that's what I'll have to go back through the housing reduction plan. I think we were talking about looking at that for 25.
Yeah. And that one, I think, probably makes sense to do not in the fall because we're going to have to do so much research, but that maybe the downtown one would be a good one for the fall. So many comments today on the community page about that piece of land right there.
Yep.
All right, that kind of wraps up for
Okay.
fall.
So schedule, Rich, you said you got some possible conflict?
Oh, your
personal
anniversary.
reason or something?
What's your anniversary?
I mean, every anniversary is special.
They're all, yeah.
As we
they're all
know.
special.
Well,
But
yeah.
not particularly numerical special, it's just an anniversary.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would like to hear the boards, how August looks. I guess that's the,
So we have August 13th.
And so the 13th is your anniversary? Is that, because I don't care if we
everybody in
move
town
it.
knows.
Why not?
Yes.
I'm open to moving it. I mean, maybe the 20th? I mean, so when is the room available? I mean, what are the good days to move it to? Because I know the select board's got this room probably.
Yeah, so they're gonna go on summer you know what, let me,
That's right, they go on
let me just
summer
speak to Justin and Amanda, see what their summer, I don't know if they've
Posted it, yeah.
posted what they wanna do for the summer in the select board.
I mean, because this is something that we could, obviously.
Doesn't need to be
it's
done tonight.
It's a scheduling issue, so we could we can do this via email.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, yep,
What's that, for August?
yeah.
On the
I think I'm on vacation that week.
July 9th, I'm in Costa Rica, so I can't dial in. But
All right.
otherwise, the
Very
schedule
nice.
looks pretty good for me.
Stop passing this around. That's just the signature page for the.
You wanna zoom in from Costa Rica, or?
No, it's my vacation.
June 11th, I will
I
be
know, I
remote.
tease.
Should be available, just remote.
Is the 9th,
Remote.
does anybody else have a challenge with the 9th of July?
9th of July?
I mean, if there's something that needs a critical vote, I can
No, I
dial
don't
in
think
for
so.
that. We'll just front load stuff and I'll drop off after it's done, but I would rather not do that.
That's yeah, that's tricky for you, right? Time zone wise, what's
2
the
hours.
hours?
It's only 2,
It's
yeah.
2? Oh, it's 2, okay.
Christian signing this?
Nope.
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 Sorry, buddy.
It's okay.
Almost got it.
No problem.
All right, well,
Don't take any offense.
so stick with the 9th for the now? Is July 9th? All right.
It's fine for me
Yeah,
as
that's-
of now, yeah.
Fine.
Okay. All right. Excellent. All right.
Okay. That it? Motion?
Now, Christian, would you like to reconsider for associate member?
Reconsider.
Oh, not reconsider, I shouldn't say that.
With myself saying, I'm
So
good.
your term's gonna end up, your term is a one-year term, it ends June 30th, so if you wanna
Re-enlist.
re-enlist for,
No, this has been great.
Hey, he's
I mean,
just
if
getting
you,
going.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is nice.
all right, so then what I would
Wanted to
ask.
replace me with somebody better.
No, I'm just,
Oh,
yeah, so if you wanna just submit an application again.
Oh, okay, all right, sure.
Because I know
I can
Judith
do
be,
that.
Can you just copy the other one? Yeah.
yeah, I suppose.
Sure.
Probably could.
Because I know Judith's gonna be asking about,
No problem.
it's coming.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Do I have to do the training again?
Every year we gotta do training.
Good, I just did it. It took me a while. But
Ethics training?
yeah.
Yeah, every year.
Okay.
You get
No.
2, no, you don't have to.
2 years.
2 years.
Good.
2 years?
I think it's every 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a reminder to renew mine this year, and I'm like, I went logged in, I'm like, yeah, I'm still good. I don't know why I got the reminder.
Yeah.
It was strange.
Thank you.
That lovely training.
All right, excellent, that's it. So.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're
Aye.
done.
Thank you.
Thank